Haha, SG is here. We can now get started. Sorry about that. Hey everyone, how's everything going? Welcome to Hughes the World. I am Graham Hughes, and here is the world. There you go. Oh, hang on, it's just in the intro again. Oh, I wish it would stop doing that. Anyway, big shout out to Sarah, Rosie, Simon, Diz, in the chat, SG and Duke Vengeance saying "kill me now." Sorry, mate. I was late. I was having a bit of technical issues, bit of old technical issues, because I was uploading on one of my other channels. So I've got this channel, right, and then I've got Graham Hughes Travels, which this should be on, but I wouldn't even get the numbers that I get on this channel for this. And then I've got Graham Hughes Presents, and I've just put a new video on Graham Hughes Presents. It's a 10-minute video, right? And it's when I snuck into the Star Wars Episode 3 premiere in London. Yeah, you want to watch that, don't you? Yeah, 20 years ago. 20 years ago. That's just insane in the membrane. Hey, Sarah. Sarah's in the chat as well. Oh, brilliant. I'm glad we got some really cool people in tonight. So, Dominican Republic, the Dom Rep, where the Caribbean meets its loudest, proudest heart. From the booming merengue beats to the sugar sand beaches, the Dominican Republic, or can't even say it. República Dominica is a Caribbean powerhouse of culture, rhythm, and resilience. Sharing the island of Hispaniola with Haiti, the Dominican Republic offers a vibrant fusion of Spanish colonial charm, African roots, and Taíno heritage, with a population known for its warmth, flair, and unshakable pride. So, there's a few fascinating facts about Dominican Republic, which I'll come to in a moment. I'm just going to turn my mic on. Okay, that's better. You don't want your mic too close. You don't want it on the camera. I should move over a bit as well because I'm not centered. I get all mise-en-scene on these things. I'm like, it doesn't look quite right. Anyway, so Dominican Republic is the oldest European settlement in the Americas, with Santo Domingo, the capital of the country, home to the first cathedral, castle, and paved street in the New World. In the New World, people. Yeah, America thinks it's so advanced. Really? Well, you're not. Baseball is a national religion in the DR, and the DR has produced more Major League Baseball players than any other country in the world. Apart from, America. Any country apart from America. It's produced the most apart from America. The country's national dish is La Bandera, which is rice, beans, and meat, representing the colours of the Dominican flag, which is quite cool. And it's Dominican, not Dominican, because last week we did Dominica, so this is just Dominic. Okay, just so you know the difference. Pico Duarte at 3,098 meters is the highest mountain in the Caribbean. It is the only country with a Bible verse on its flag, and it's actually John Chapter 8, verse 32 it is. The DR is a top producer of cigars, outpacing Cuba in exports. Well, that's not that surprising, really, is it? Because there's been an embargo against Cuba for a long time. Mama Juana is the country's famed spice rum aphrodisiac. It's called Mama Juana, it's not pot, it's mama, like your mother, Mama Juana. That's the spiced rum aphrodisiac that people like to take. Dominicans call their laid-back attitude no hay problema, as in no problem. It's no problem. The DR was the first Latin American country to recognize Israel, but has been one of the largest Palestinian supporters and diasporas in the Caribbean. The national music styles and merengue and bacacha, are both UNESCO recognized and dominate every party. I love the fact that dance and music becomes recognized by UNESCO as a cultural asset that we shouldn't mess with. So let's talk about the geography of the place. So it is in. Oh, hang on. You need to see the world, don't you? No good me talking about the geography of somewhere without me showing you also the world. So it is located in the world. This is the world here. There's Africa looking massive. There's Blighty. There's the United Kingdom or the disunited kingdom. I'm just going to make the words a little bit bigger so you can see them on the screen better. Wow, look at all those countries. Do you know anyone who's been to them all? I don't, because I haven't been to Greenland. So if I go down here, here is the Caribbean. Here, it's got a bit of cloud at the moment. Let's go through the cloud. So last week we were in Dominica over here. Now we're in the Dominican Republic. Different country with a similar name. You know, like Guyana and French Guyana and like Guinea and Equatorial Guinea and Papua New Guinea and Guinea-Bissau. Similar name, different country. But there you go. There's the Dominican Republic. So we'll zoom in. You'll be able to see that it's next door to Puerto Rico over here. It's quite close to Jamaica over here. It's quite close to Cuba over here. It's the long country. And it's also near the Turks and Caicos Islands and the Bahamas. There's Nassau in the Bahamas. The Bahamas actually comes down here quite a bit. So it's quite close to the Bahamas as well. You'll see that it's only 3/4 of the island of Hispaniola. This whole island's called La Española. No, Hispaniola. I don't know why it's coming up with that. And what does it still say? Oh, God, look at that. Gulf of America in brackets there. Piss off, Trump, you twat. Anyway, so we'll zoom in. The Dominican Republic is over here. And it shares the island with Haiti, which is over here. So Port-au-Prince is the capital of Haiti. And Santo Domingo is the capital of the Dominican Republic. Easy to remember because it's got Dominico. They play dominoes, and they do play dominoes in Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic on a Sunday, which is Domingo. Okay, so when I went to the Dominican Republic, I came in on the cruise ship that I catched a ride on it. It was called the Costa Fortuna, and it came into La Romana over here on the east side of the island, and from there I took a bus or a minibus to Santo Domingo, and then I got the coach up to Puerto Plata in the north here. I tried to get a boat because I needed to go to Cuba and I needed to find some way of getting a boat. While I was in Puerto Plata here, I stayed with a nice guy who we'll meet in the video later called, oh my God, I want to say Mashab, but that's somewhere in Iran. He was Iranian. It'll come to me in a moment. Hang on a sec. I'll look in my book. That'll help. I've got my Mehrdad. His name is Mehrdad. This is my Caribbean Islands Lonely Planet, and it's well used. It's well used. So so I went up to Puerto Plata, and that's where Mehrdad lived. And then I went over to the border. I went to Jarabon here, right on the border, and I stepped across the border into Juanaminthe. Look at that for a name of a place. Juanaminthe. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. And they open up this border. Well, they used to. I don't know if they do anymore. We'll get onto that later. But they open up this border point. They used to once a week for market day, and you used to be able to walk across. And that was going to be my trip into Haiti, but it didn't work out that way. Well, it did work out that way because that was, ticking Haiti off the list. But I ended up taking the boat round to Port-au-Prince, on the way to Jamaica. We went from Santo Domingo to Port-au-Prince and then off to Jamaica on the boat. So that after going to Jarabon there, or I suppose it'd be Dahabon, wouldn't it be for Spanish? So Dahabon. Headed back to Puerto Plata, and then I went down to Santo Domingo. I managed to get on a cargo ship because there were no sailing ships that wanted to take me where I needed to go, where I wanted to go. I wanted to go places, see people, do stuff. Anyway, so I'll zoom into Santo Domingo here. This is the capital. And it's really, really cool. It's got some beautiful old places, and I can pick up my guy, I hope. Yes, look at that. I can go anywhere. There's a golf course there. Should we drop us in the golf course? Let's go to Bella Vista. Whee! There you go. Ooh, this is all quite modern, doesn't it? Yes. Let's get to the old town. Old town. Yeah, come on. Bring it. Okay. So we're going to go to Zona Colonial. Oh, that's what it's called. Santo Domingo. Here we go. Woof! Look at this. Okay, so I've been here. How lovely is this? So it's like the oldest bit of the Americas as far as sort of Westerners turning up and ruining things are concerned. Oh, that's not so nice. But this is nice. Look, I think that's Christopher Columbus being a twat. I'm pretty sure. I remember this being Christopher Columbus. I might be wrong. But he's got a bird on his head, so I hope the bird is doing a massive poo on Christopher Columbus's head. Yeah, that looks pretty Christopher Columbus-y to me, or Cristobal Colon, as I like to call him, because that means like bumhole. Oh, go away! I don't want this Google Maps thing up. How do I get rid of the Google? I don't want to search Google Maps. Go away. I don't want that. I just want this. How do I get rid of this bloody overlay? Go away, overlay. I don't want to sign in. Stop it. Show sidebar. No. Oh, for God's sake. All right, well, I'll just leave those things at the top. I think you can't get rid of them. Anyway, so this is the old town here. And I'll put my man back on there and we'll have a little walk. Shall we have a little walk along the... This isn't the old town. What are you doing, Graham? Just confusing people now. Come on. Pick up me, little man. I want to go here, little man. There you go, look. That's better. I can just move around now. So this is the Ciudad Colonial, and this is the... Oh, there's Park Independence. I'm trying to find... There's a really, really lovely bit I'm desperately trying to find. Where is it? This is all like new shit. This is all like new roads. There's a place where it's all like lovely cobbled streets and shit. I will find it. Good name for an album, Duke. Yes, absolutely. Let's go over here. No, that's not it. Let's go to here. No. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look it up in an actual map, in a book. Okay? I'm going to actually look it up in a map, in a book. Santo Domingo. Right. There we go. Okay. Right. Okay, so I do want to go over here. Come on, little man. Oh, okay. Drop me there. And Zona Colonial. Central Park Independence. Okay, that's where I was. Okay. Let's go there. Let's go to the Independence Park. Independence Park, please. Come on, people. Come on. Why is he just standing there? Move, little man. Why is he not going to where I'm telling him to go? Go over there. There you go. It's better. Whoa. Look at this. We've got like a, I don't know, castle or something. That's quite cool. Ooh. Mausoleum housing the country's founders. That's quite cool. We're just kind of skirting over the top here of the city. There's a cemetery there. There's another park over there. But I'm looking for the old. Where's the old bit? This is quite fun actually. Kind of doing a little flyover. Inglesa, Santa Clara. Okay, yeah. Let's drop in on there. Let's go. Oh, yeah. There you go. This is the old bit. Fantastic. Found it at last. It's all right. It took me half an hour. Got there in the end. This is all the little narrow streets and some beautiful colonial architecture. Yes, I know, but it's kind of gorgeous. I like all this. And go over here. There's probably a castle or something. There we go. Look at this. There you go. That's what you want. Play cricket on there. Not that they play cricket, but, you know, if they did. Okay, so Santo Domingo. This is the capital here. As you can see, I can't go any further this way. But it's all rather charming. Look at this. Look at this. Charming. Charming, I say. Charming. You might disagree with me. Your mileage may vary, but I think it's charming. So if I zoom out a bit more, tell you a bit more about the geography. It is the eastern 2/3. It's saying that it's 2/3 on my notes here, not 3/4. But Dominican Republic. There we go. We get a little line around it now so you can see it better, more better. Oh, good. The things have disappeared at the top of the screen. That's good. So the borders are Haiti to the west, surrounded by the Atlantic Ocean to the north, and this is the Atlantic Ocean, and this is the Caribbean Sea to the south. The area is around 48,000 kilometers squared, roughly the size of Slovakia. Its main cities are, as I said, Santo Domingo. There's also Santiago de Cabrelos, which is the economic and agricultural hub. There's Punta Cana, which is like the tourism central over here on the west, on the east coast. And then we've got La Romana, which I just mentioned before. That's where I came in on the boat. Puerto Plata, which I also mentioned because that's where I stayed for a few days with my Iranian friend, Mehrdad, who actually was a sushi chef. He was a Persian sushi chef in the Caribbean. What a dude. So yeah, and that's all you need to know really. The climate, as you can quite imagine, being this close to the equator, is tropical. It's tropical maritime climate with hot, humid weather all year round. The hurricane season in this area is June to November, and hurricanes just, proper drop on people in this area here. And rainfall is heavier in the northeast and lighter in the southwest. The time zone is GMT -4, which is also known as Atlantic Standard Time, or AST. They don't have any daylight savings time because they're close enough to the the equator. The equator. You don't need it when you're really close to the equator. So the capital, Santo Domingo, is like I said, it was founded in 1496. So it's the oldest continuously inhabited European city in the Americas. The colonial zone is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, which I just showed you a little bit of. And as far as the environment goes, they have a diverse ecosystem, tropical rainforests, savannas, mangroves, dry forests, you name it. There are national parks, over 20 of them, including Parque Nacional de Este, which just means the Eastern National Park, and Jaragua National Park as well. Environmental issues include deforestation, but nowhere as near on the scale of its neighbor, Haiti, water pollution, and coral reef damage. If you want to just see, I don't know if you'll be able to see this really well, but imagine that border wasn't there, right? So let's just take the border off here. You can still see the line, but you'll be amazed at just how green it is on this side and how brown it is on this side of the border. It's quite remarkable. That's quite up in the highlands there, but you can see here, look, see how green that is and see how brown that is on the other side. Yeah, the deforestation in Haiti is off the absolute charts. It's kind of insane. Again, you can see where it's green on one side of the border, and then you cross the border and it's not green. It's not green. Look at this. Look at the difference on one side to the other. So yeah, kind of crazy. The amount of deforestation that has gone on. That picture just shows you. That does look like someone's just drawn a line diagonally, hasn't it? And then this part of me closest to me is just green, and the top part's brown. That's the deforestation that's been going on in Haiti. Haiti's got a lot of problems. It's got a lot of problems. And many of them, as we will learn when we come to the Haiti episode in this, it was inflicted on them from outside as punishment for breaking away and becoming the first black-led country in the Western Hemisphere. They were punished for it properly. So the money they use in Dominican Republic is the Dominican peso, or the DOP. The exchange rate is, as of 2025, it's about 56 DOPs to the $1 US. The credit cards are accepted in urban areas, but cash is king in rural towns. So make sure you've got some US dollars in your shoe. They drive on the right because they're wrong. The flag, this wonderful flag. Oh, hang on, I need to go back to my main view. Sorry, I should have done that. Main view here. The flag was designed by Pablo Duarte. The flag is a Christian symbol of independence. The blue stands for liberty. The red stands for the blood of the patriots, as always. And white stands for salvation. So there you go. Salvation from, me. The central coat of arms features this Bible verse, John 8:32. La verdad os hará libres, which means the truth shall set you free. So the motto on their flag is also the tagline from The Shawshank Redemption. How good is that? It's also from the Bible, which is where The Shawshank Redemption got it from as well. The truth shall set you free. I just want to say hello into the chat for a moment. Graham, why is Haiti so much poorer than the Dominican Republic? SG, because they had a slave rebellion 200 odd years ago, and they kicked the French out, and they were punished for it. Like the French punished them, the British, the Dutch, everybody who was in the Caribbean punished them for it. And as a result, they just went through horrific times of having horrific governments, horrific dictators, horrifying things happening. and just always being a really, really poor country. It is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, although it does have a much lower murder rate than Washington, D.C. Hashtag just saying. So there you go. Moving on, the national anthem. Should we play the national anthem? We like doing this, don't we? Should we get the national anthem queued up? The national anthem of the Dominican Republic. We're going to get this in a moment, just after this advert finishes playing. I will send it over to you. I'll send this smile over to you. So here we go. We'll listen to this together. This is the Valiant Dominicans, or Quisqueyanos Valientes. Valientes. So let's dig into it, shall we? Should we get going on this? Here we go. I'll pop this in my ear so I can hear it as well. We can hear the anthem of the people of Dominica. Yeah, let's go. Not hearing anything yet. Am I going to hear something in a moment? Yes, I am. Ooh, it's a bit Monty Python. I like this. Does it have words? It does! Yes! Valiant Dominicans, let us survive. A song with vivid emotion. That's lovely. I like the fact that their flag has got pictures of their flag on their flag. A few countries do that. Playing these anthems demonetizes these videos. Just saying. That was nice. I like that. That was good. Thanks for watching. No, thank you. Thank you for putting that on YouTube for us to watch. It's very nice of you. So that was the national anthem called Himno Nacional Dominico. It was written by Emilio Prudhomme. I'm assuming it's pronounced Homme because it looks French. So I'm just pronouncing it that way. I hope it's not wrong. It's Homme. The music was by Jose Rufino Reyes y Say Anchors. Say Anchors? It was first performed in 1883 and it was officially adopted as their anthem in 1934. It's a rousing call to liberty, national pride, and the legacy of the revolution. Viva la revolution, Agent Caravida. So the population and society, the population is approximately 11 million. That's a 2025 estimate. The median age is 28.3 years. The ethnic groups include mixed race people who are called mestizo and mulatto, and they make up 73% of the population. Black people make up 16%, around there. White people make up around 11%. The demonym of the country, as I mentioned earlier, is Dominican, not to be confused with Dominican. They're spelled exactly the same way, but they're two different countries. The official language is Spanish, and they do have some vernacular languages, which include Dominican Spanish, which includes African and Taíno influences. Some communities speak Haitian Creole English and Samana English, an old African American English dialect. It's kind of like Pidgin. The religion is predominantly Roman Catholic. It's around 50%, but they're not particularly practicing compared with other countries in the Caribbean. I found they're a bit more easygoing, and although I still don't think they're particularly accepting of gay and lesbian people coming to their country, or in their country, I guess. It's a little bit more accepting than other places in the Caribbean. There is a rising number of evangelical Protestants, and a lot of them is because people are coming over from the United States of America as like missionaries to go and, I don't know, to civilize the noble savages of Santo Domingo. You know, those people who work as like doctors and lawyers and architects and teachers and things like that. They need to be civilized by Americans of all people. Other faiths include spiritualism, and Jehovah's Witnesses have got a big grasp on the location as well, and also Afro-Caribbean syncretic religions, which is quite cool. Dominicans are extroverted, humorous, expressive, and very family orientated. The culture values music, dance, and strong social ties, and it has a laid back attitude to time. Like DR time is just when things turn up. It's just it gets there when it gets there. Don't sweat it. The social rhythm is best experienced in a colmado, which is a neighborhood shop or bar, or a family cookout. If you get invited to a family cookout, please take that opportunity to go to one, because you won't have a bad time. Baseball, as I said earlier, is a national obsession. The famous stars include David Ortiz, Petro Martinez, and Vladimir Guerrero. Basketball and boxing are also hugely popular in Dominican Republic. Beaches draw water sports lovers, like people who want to go kite surfing, diving, and sailing. Big sailing community there, especially up in Puerto Plata and other places, La Romania. Punta Cana, there's a lot of sailboats around there. The Dominicans are news obsessed. Major outlets include the Liston Dario Libre, and El Caribe. When I was there, I was helped out by dr1.com, which is a news source and just a local website that tells you everything you need to know that's going down in the old Dom rep. Radio and TV are major sources of information, along with the internet. Press freedom exists, but political interference and sensationalism are issues. That doesn't make them any different from what we put up with in our country in the UK, because obviously, you know, political interference, where there's a revolving door policy from the tabloids into number 10, especially when the Tories are in charge. Not great. The architecture there is a blend of Spanish colonial, African, Taíno, and modern styles. The colonial zone in Santo Domingo features these 16th century buildings, some of which you just saw when we were zooming around on Street View. The contemporary art scene is vibrant and experimental. There are street murals, there's graffiti everywhere, there's craft markets, which are widespread. The food over there, the staples are rice, beans, plantains, cassava, chicken, pork, and seafood. And they have some really decent food. Like the national dish is La Bandera, which is rice, red beans, and stewed meat. It's their equivalent of, I don't know, hot pot, scouse, whatever. It's just like comfort food. There's also sancocho, which is a hearty meat and root vegetable stew. I suppose that's more like scouse, to be honest with you. Then you've got also mango, not mango, but mangú, which is mashed plantains with fried cheese and salami. Plantains are like big bananas, but they're kind of savory. They're not sweet like bananas, and they're really tasty. You get them, you put them in salt water for a little bit, soften them up, and put them in slices. You slice them so they all look like medallions, and then you put them in some salt water for a little bit, let them absorb the salt, let them sort of chill out a bit, and then you get like the end of a what's it called, a rolling pin, the end of the rolling pin, and you smash them, and then you throw them into some hot oil. And you have fried plantains. I eat them a lot when I'm on Ginger Island, actually. They're great. Popular drinks include the one that I mentioned earlier, Mama Juana, which is the herb-infused rum. There's also Presidente beer is the name of their beer over there. And they've got fruit juices, and they've also got smoothies, which they call batidas. The festivals that you can go to, the big one is Carnival, which is in February. It's Mardi Gras, which features wild costumes, devils with whips, and music and dance. There's the Merengue Festival, which is in July/August in Santo Domingo. There is Independence Day, which is the 27th of February, which is commemorated with parades and music. It's the day before my birthday, so I really should go there one year for my birthday. That'd be quite cool. Religious celebrations like Corpus Christi and Semana Santa, which is Holy Week, a really big in Dominican Republic as well. There's a growing local film industry thanks to government initiatives. Films like La Familia Reina, I should say, and Cogito Paz and Carpinteros have international recognition. The Global Film Festival in Santo Domingo attracts some very big names. In literature, we have Pedro Mia, who is a national poet, and he's the author of Heion Piaz el Mundo, which means the peace in the world. Other authors include Julia Alvarez, Juno Diaz, and who are American US-based Dominican writers. Juno Diaz wrote The Brief Wondrous Life of Oscar Who, which is a fantastic book. It is about this nerdy kid who dreams of becoming the next J.R.R. Tolkien, but keeps falling hopelessly in love. And it goes back to the history of when Churquilo was in charge of the DR and the horrors that were wrought on the islands as a result of the island nation as a result. So really worth reading this. I actually read this when I was there, which is quite cool. But yeah, I really recommend it. It actually won the Pulitzer Prize for fiction back in, I want to say 2007 or something. It's really good. And DR1, the website that helped me get off the island, they're actually mentioned in the book. They get mentioned. I was like, oh, right, you're in the book, which is pretty cool. Other authors I just mentioned, and then there were these in there, the novels and the stories, the themes of migration, identity, and history. They tend to dominate. So let's talk a little bit about the things you can do when you're there. Santo Domingo's colonial zone, which I've just mentioned. There's also the Alcázar de Colón, which is the first cathedral of the in the Western Hemisphere. Effectively, I know that the Western Hemisphere technically is everywhere west of Greenwich, but over the water, the New World, let's say. Pico Duarte is the Caribbean's highest peak if you want to go and scale a mountain, and there is Saona Island and Los Haitienses National Park, which is great for ecotourism. There's Jaco Barroca, which is a mountain town with waterfalls and paragliding. There is Puerto Plata, which has cable car rides and it's got a historic fort and beaches. It's quite a lovely place. And the typical costs while you're there, you can get a budget meal for about $5 to $10. Mid-range hotel would set you back around $60 to $120 per night. I would recommend couch surfing. I would recommend Airbnb, just bunking in with a local. I don't like Airbnbs when it's kind of like you just get the place to yourself. I think that's pushing people out of the Airbnb. It's pushing people out of the local area. So I don't necessarily agree with that, but I can see why, say you're in a family or something, you wouldn't want to be sharing your space with somebody else that you don't know. So yeah, it's a bit thing, but when I was traveling on the Odds expedition, I was using couch surfing and I was staying with locals, and it was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. So your local transport is dead cheap. It's only like $1 to $2 per ride, and taxis and tours can be expensive if not negotiated first. Petty crime is quite common in tourism zones, so be alert, but that's nothing new. I mean, try walking around to Barcelona with your wallet hanging out the back of your pants. Avoid traveling at night in unfamiliar areas, but that's standard advice for anywhere, Would I recommend traveling alone at night in unfamiliar areas if you weren't familiar with Liverpool? No, of course I wouldn't. Hurricane season as well, you got to watch out for that. So I wouldn't go there between June and November necessarily. I mean, it's hot all year round. There's no reason to go in hurricane season, and if the thing is, if you're a tourist and you go to one of these places, and this is something that I always bear in mind whenever I'm visiting somewhere that is a little bit off the beaten track, not that Dominican Republic's off the beaten track, but other places, is if something happens, right, and I'm there, I'm going to be a nuisance because I don't need to be there, right? I've got the choice. I've got the choice whether to go there or not. So I would tend to avoid places if it was hurricane season. I'll tend to avoid places if there was a lot of political instability going on. I wouldn't necessarily travel through that country. I'll step over the border, get me stamp, get me GPS to say I'm in the country. Great, walk out again. Buy a bottle of wine, walk out again. Just to go back to what I was saying earlier about gay and lesbian travelers, same-sex activity is legal, but it is quite a socially conservative country, and public displays of affection will attract attention, and there is no recognition for same-sex no legal recognition for same-sex couples as yet. Santo Domingo and Cabarete are more LGBT friendly than the rural areas. That's pretty much the same everywhere in the world, to be honest with you. Getting there in a way. So they've got some major international airports. The big one is Las Americas, which is Santo Domingo, but also you can go into Punta Cana International, which is way out on the east of the island, the eastern point of the island. There's also an international airport in Santiago as well, and there are regular flights from the US, Canada, Europe, and Latin America. For visa situation, most EU, US, UK citizens and Commonwealth citizens can get entry visa-free for up to 30 days. A tourist card is required, often included in the airfare, and extensions are available from immigration officers if you want to stay a bit longer. Vaccinations that are recommended: hepatitis A, typhoid, and tetanus, which I would always recommend for going anywhere near the equator. Mosquito-borne illnesses that which you could get include dengue fever, Zika, and there's something called chikungunya. I don't even know what that is, but it sounds bad. So bring mosquito repellent. Tap water is not safe to drink in general. Bring bottled water. No, actually, just drink beer. Graham's health tips: drink bottled beer. So let's dig into the history. Not wrong with plain speaking, says Diz. Forthright, Pete. Forthright to the extent of tactlessness. Yeah, you don't want to be too forthright. Anne Phillips, whoops, I did it again, waiting to start, then got interested in something else. Story of my life. Sorry, I was a bit late getting started today. That was my fault. So let's talk about the history, the geological origins of the island of Hispaniola, which the Dominican Republic shares with Haiti, began during the Oligocene epoch, which was around 30 million years ago. One angry pagan's going to come on here now and tell me I'm butchering the pronunciation of that. Through volcanic activity and tectonic uplift. Dominica's geographical foundation includes igneous and metamorphic rocks, a sign of a fiery past beneath the Caribbean plate. Pre-colonial inhabitants. Originally, the place was inhabited by Paleo Indians from mainland South America from around 6000 BC. They possibly arrived via canoes or maybe even land bridges. It was later settled by the Arawak-speaking Taíno people, who created a sophisticated society with caciques, which was the name for their chiefs, and also bateyes, which was ball courts, in a bit like, the Mayans had their ball courts, had their ball games. And there were also aretios, which were the names of their ritual dancers. They cultivated yucca, maize, corn, and pineapples. They used canoes, petrographs, and matrilineal society to manage life on the island. The Taíno they named the island Quisqueya, starting with a Q, and also used Haiti for the mountainous western part of the island. In 1492, there was a Spanish arrival on December the 5th. 1492, Christopher Columbus landed on the north coast and named the island La Isla Española, later anglicized as Hispaniola. Not great. And I'm going to tell you exactly why that wasn't great in a moment. First of all, I'm just going to have a look at the chat. We've got nothing ends up Often ends up having to grovel on, apologetically, as you probably noticed, says Anne. I'd make a terrible conspirator, says Anne Phillips. And Duke Rengen says, we know what you mean, Graham. I don't know exactly what you're referring to there. But yeah, I'm just going to take a little break and a little bit of my tea, which is still too hot to drink. Anyway, so where was I? Columbus built La Navidad, which was the first European settlement in the Americas, which was soon destroyed by the locals. In 1493, Columbus returned with settlers and he founded La Isabela, and Santo Domingo was founded in 1498, and it is the oldest continually inhabited European city in the Americas. Spanish colonialists used the encomienda system to absolutely enslave the Taíno people who were there in the first place. Widespread violence, disease, and labor forced near total extermination of the Taíno people by the 1590s. I'm just gonna read something to you from my Lonely Planet book here, because I want you to just take in the scale, the absolute scale of this, because it really is off the charts. So, of the 400,000 Taíno people that were living on Hispaniola at the time of European arrival, fewer than 1,000 were still alive 30 years later. None exist today. The Taíno people were completely wiped out. We're talking 399,000 people wiped out in the space of 30 years. Which is really, really fucked up. It really is. Sorry, I should put a goal up, shouldn't I? Because otherwise I'm not going to get any super chats, and I'm probably already demonetized this. So just anything. We'll put 30 minutes up. I probably won't be that long. I'll say thank you. Thank you. I'll make more of these. That's what I'll do. I'll say thank you, and I'll also make more of these shows if you're interested. I've got to get going soon. I've got to have my dinner, but I did start a bit late, so stay with me. So between 1503 and 1795, they had their slavery and sugar boom. The first African slaves were brought over in 1503, only 11 years after Europeans first step foot on Hispaniola. They were already shipping African slaves over, establishing the Dominican Republic as part of the transatlantic slave trade. Sugarcane plantations thrived through the 19th century, but later declined. The colony faced pirate raids and competition from other European powers. In 1697, French control of the West under the Treaty of Ryswick. Spain ceded the western third of the island to France, which became known as San Domingue. It looks like Saint Domingue, but it's just Domingue, which is now called Haiti. Eastern Hispaniola remained Spanish, and then between 1795 and 1809, French control of all Hispaniola, Spain, ceded Eastern Hispaniola to France in 1795. So all of it was French. All of the island became French in 1795. And Toussaint Louverture took over the eastern part of the island in 1801, abolishing slavery, but French rule was reasserted in 1809. Many Dominicans resisted French rule and were allied with the British and the Spanish against them. From 1809 to 1821, there was a return to French rule after defeating the French in Santo Domingo. Spain regained control in 1809, a period called the España Boba, or foolish Spain due to neglect. In 1821, it was the first independence on November 21. Dominicans declared, December the 1st it was, 1821. Dominicans declared independence from Spain under Jose Núñez de Cáceres. The new state, República del Haití Español, only lasted for 2 months. Big shout out to Sarah Davis for the first super chat of the night. Thank you very much for the £2 super chat. Thank you, Graham. Have a super chat. Thank you, Sarah. You're the best. Thank you very much. From 1822 to 1844, there was the Haitian unification. So in Jean-Pierre Bouyer invaded and unified the island under Haitian rule. During 22 years of Haitian control, slavery remained abolished, but land seizures and taxation bred resentment. In 1844, Dominican independence was declared. On February the 27th, Dominican nationalists led by Juan Pablo Duarte declared independence, and they created the Dominican Republic and repelled Haitian attempts to regain control over the next few decades. From 1861 to 1865, there was a short return to Spanish rule and restoration. Facing economic hardship, President Pedro Santana re-annexed the country on behalf of Spain in 1861. Are you keeping up? So it was Spanish, then it was independent, then it was overtaken by people from Haiti, then it was independent, then it was overtaken by the people from Haiti again, then it was independent for a few years, and then it was Spanish for a little bit. Widespread opposition to the war of led to the War of Restoration, which was from 1863 to 1865, and full independence in 1865. Whew. Are you still there? Late in the 1800s, there was a period of political turbulence, a series of coups and dictatorships that plagued the Republic. Infrastructure developed slowly. Sugar and tobacco exports slowly grew. From 1916 to 1927, there was a U.S. occupation. The U.S. occupied the Dominican Republic in 1916, citing debt and instability as reasons, as pretext for doing it. Americans built roads and trained a new military force, the future Guardia Nacional. The occupation ended in 1924 under President Horacio Vasquez, and from 1930 to 1961, they entered the period of the Trujillo dictatorship, which I'm going to come to in a moment, which was a horrific time. So content warning for the next couple of minutes of me talking the history of Santo Domingo, of Dominican Republic. So thanks very much to Saz saying thank you, Graham. No, thank you, Saz. Thank you. And SG, thanks, Graham. Always love these. Please do keep making them. I will keep making them, SG, just because you asked so nicely. Fun fact from Simon Smith, courtesy of The Girlfriend: when Mount Pelée erupted in 1902 on nearby Saint Martinique, the survivors sailed to the Dominican Republic. Oh, that's nice. Anne Phillips saying, X used to bring me tea, which was nice, except he'll moan at me for not drinking it while it was scalding hot. Reason 1698 why he is X. Anne, do you want to know my secret? Okay. This is just for the people who watch Hughes of the World, okay? Because this is a bit niche. This is a bit niche for this channel, okay? Just between you and me, right? I've got a teas made. I don't mean I've got a maid who makes me tea. I mean I've got one of those automatic teas made. And what I do, it just pours water. So I got this so I have this, right, in the morning, and it's got coffee in and some milk, right? It's a thermos, so it won't go off. And I put a little bit of I usually put a bit of flavouring in there as well, a bit of vanilla or something, or Biscoff flavouring, right? And then I leave that overnight. And then in the morning, the alarm goes off, and I've got boiling water right there next to my bed. If I didn't have that, I don't think I'd be able to get out of bed. I really don't. I mean, I could ask Catherine very, very nicely if she would get out of bed and make me a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, but I don't think she would. I just be like, what? Get stuffed, Graham. So little secret between us. Tea's made. Fucking the bollocks, man. The bollocks. Okay. Such a 1950s housewife. So anyway, 1930. Let's talk about Trujillo. Rafael Leonidas Trujillo. He seized power in 1930 and ruled for 31 years with an iron fist. He oversaw massive infrastructure projects, but he governed through terror, censorship, and extrajudicial killings. In 1937, Trujillo ordered the Parsley Massacre, killing thousands of Haitians near the border. Let me just dip into my Caribbean book again, just to tell you a little bit more about this. Content warning again. Content warning, serious content warning. Maybe just turn the volume off for just 1 minute, okay? In a matter of days, 20,000 Haitians were hacked to death with machetes and their bodies dumped into the ocean. That was ordered by Trujillo. Thankfully, he was assassinated, but sadly, it took till 1961 for that to happen. And you know what? His replacement wasn't that much better. From 61 to 65, instability and US intervention, power vacuum led to political chaos. In 1965, civil war broke out between constitutionalists and loyalists. US Marines intervened again, citing fears of communism. You know, the Americans like to intervene. And the 1966 to 1978 was the Balaguer era of Joaquin Balaguer, sorry, I should pronounce it Balaguer. Joaquin Balaguer, who ruled under an authoritarian regime that promoted economic growth, particularly in tourism and construction, but he was known for suppressing dissent and rigging elections. It wasn't that much better than the terrible Trujillo days. Trujillo was one of the real monsters of the 20th century, and his name doesn't really come up much when we think of these horrific dictators. He's a bit like Salazar of Portugal. I mean, people hear of Franco in Spain. We hear of Franco Spain. We don't hear so much about Salazar in Portugal, who arguably did even worse stuff than Franco around the Portuguese colonies around the world when they pulled out in he died, I think, in 1973, and then they pulled out of all the colonies in 1975, a couple of years later, and they just did it in such a just a twattish way, just the twattiest way you could possibly imagine. But yeah, in the horrific list of 20th century despots, along with Pol Pot and Idi Amin and Adolf Hitler and Mussolini, I really do think that Trujillo should be on that list of people who, if there is a hell, they're definitely burning there for all eternity. Thank you very much. From 1978 to 1996, they saw democratic reforms come into the country of the Dominican Republic. Gradual return to democracy and several peaceful elections were held. The economy diversified, but they faced inflation and debt. Environmental and social challenges did persist. From 1996 to 2020, there was modernization. Leonel Fernandez led the modernization efforts, improved infrastructure, telecommunications, and education. Daniel Medina, he was in charge from 2012 to 2020. He focused on economic growth and poverty reduction. In 2020, to today, there was new leadership under Louis Abinader, who was of the PRM party, the Modern Revolutionary Party. He won the presidency in 2020. His administration is focused on transparency, economic resilience, and he's managed the COVID pandemic quite well. However, tensions between the Dominican Republic and Haiti are currently at, I'm not going to say an all-time high because they've been higher in the past, but they are quite high at the moment. So you've got to look at the historical context for this. Occupation and resettlement from 1822 to 1844, with the Haitian occupation, I like that, of Santo Domingo after Haiti granted independence from France in 1804. President Jean-Pierre Bouillet invaded and unified the island in 1822, abolished slavery in the eastern half, which is now the Dominican Republic. However, his rule was unpopular amongst Dominicans. Why? Because they spoke Spanish. It was as simple as that. They didn't want to be ruled over by black African slaves who spoke French. It's as simple as that. Xenophobia, racism, all the usual things. But generally speaking, most groups, it's a linguistic thing. You find that most countries sort of separate into linguistic groups. more than anything else. Anyway, so his rule was unpopular amongst Dominicans. Not, I mean, apart from the racism, they also resented the land expropriation. They also resented the heavy taxation and like the cultural imposition, such as the enforcement of French-speaking officials and Haitian military governance. People just don't go for that kind of thing. And the Dominican War of Independence in 1844 was largely this reaction to this occupation. The Haitian threat was a central pillar of Dominican nationalism from then onwards, really. The DR tends to identify, in the same way that like Scottish people identify as Scottish and Welsh people identify as not as Welsh, but then we say, what do English people identify as like they're not Scottish? It's a bit like that. I know it's a bit more. I know we have more identity than that in England, but it's one of those running things of like, what is the English identity apart from we're not Welsh, we're not Scottish. Anyway, the you could see why there was this reaction to the occupation, and why it would mean that when people think of Dominican nationalism, even to this day, it's quite anti-Haiti. These old grudges die hard. The Dominican Republic tends to identify with Hispanic, Catholic, and mixed race Creole heritage, tracing their cultural lineage back to Spain, whereas Haiti is predominantly Black, French, Creole speaking, and culturally aligned with Afro-Caribbean traditions more than Spanish. So also be aware of the fact that most of the countries in the Caribbean mostly associate with Afro-Caribbean traditions. And then you've got places like the Dominican Republic and Cuba, which are a little bit unusual as they are Hispanic islands, which makes sense because it's on Hispaniola, but they're Hispanic islands, they're more Latin America than Caribbean America in their culture, in their language, in just the way of things, their music, everything. So you've got two very different cultures that share one island, and obviously tensions have flared in the past, and they will continue to flare going forward. Now, under Trujillo, in his dictatorship from 1930 to 1961, he radicalized Dominican identity. He promoted Hispanic superiority and anti-Haitianism, and they called it anti-Haitianismo. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. He encouraged the idea that Dominicans were white and civilized, in contrast to African backward Haitians, as he put it. And the Parsley Massacre, which I've mentioned, was one of the darkest moments in DR Haitian relations. Trujillo ordered the massacre of 30,000 Haitians at least, and Black Dominicans as well. Don't forget, this is people living by the border that he thought were too Black. It was ethnic cleansing. It was pure genocide against Black people living in that area. And it became known as El Corte, as in the cutting. Spanish used the word perejil, meaning parsley, as a linguistic test. If someone couldn't pronounce it correctly in Spanish, they were presumed Haitian and executed, even if they were clearly, even if they were Dominican, even if they were from the Dominican Republic, had lived there all their lives and identified as Dominican, it didn't matter. This event still haunts diplomatic and popular sentiment today and remains unaddressed by a formal apology, which honestly I think is the least that the Dominican Republic could do at the moment. But also it might be worth thinking about getting a reciprocal apology, keep things sweet, for the occupation, the 20-year occupation in the 1800s. But don't forget, this massacre in the 1930s, I know it was a long time ago, but it's still living memory. It's still living memory today. There were children at that time who are still alive now in their 80s and the 90s who remember that happening. Immigration and statelessness crisis. Haiti is significantly poorer than the Dominican Republic, as we saw on the map. I showed you the difference in foliage, the deforestation levels in Haiti are off the charts. Hundreds of thousands of Haitians migrate into the Dominican Republic seeking work in agriculture, in construction and domestic labor. Many live in Bateas, shanty towns built around sugar plantations with little to no access to healthcare, education, or pathway to citizenship. In 2013, Dominican Constitutional Court issued ruling 168-13, which retroactively stripped tens of thousands of Dominicans of Haitian descent of their nationality if born after 1929 to undocumented parents. This effectively rendered them stateless despite being born in the Dominican Republic. International human rights organizations strongly condemn this move as ethnic cleansing or racially motivated disenfranchisement. The government later introduced a naturalization law, but many affected individuals remain to this day, over 11, 12 years later, they remain in limbo. So there's also border disputes and the infrastructure. The DR has militarized the border in recent years and is constructing a physical wall similar in rhetoric to the US-Mexican border wall, claiming it's to prevent illegal immigration and trafficking. Critics argue that this move symbolically and physically reinforces xenophobia and will not address the root causes of migration. And then there's the water dispute, which has been raging for the last couple of years. Tensions escalated over Haiti's decision to construct a canal, diverting water from the splendidly named Massacre River, which forms part of the northern border between the two countries. The DR claims that this project violates international agreements and environmental protocols. In response, President Louis Abinada temporarily closed the border, suspending visas for Haitians, and he deployed troops. Haitian authorities insisted that on their sovereign right to access to shared natural resources. The issue remains unresolved, fueling nationalist rhetoric on both sides. And then you've also got the problem with the media, populist politicians, Dominican Republic. I mean, this is just the same as happens in the UK. It is populist politicians come along and say that all the problems in your life are caused by the people next door. The people coming over the water in small boats, or coming over the border from Mexico, or coming over the border, in this case, from Haiti. Politicians often use anti-Haitian sentiment during election cycles, portraying Haitians as a burden on public services or a threat to national identity. Dominican media sometimes fuels xenophobia, whereas Haitian media frames DR as hypercritical and abusive, especially given their economic resilience on Haitian labor. A bit like the way that we go on and on about immigrants, even though our culture, our society, our economy is based on migrant labor. Public sentiment and racism. While many Dominicans empathize with Haiti's struggles, anti-Haitian prejudice is widespread, often rooted in skin color, language, and economic status. Dominican school books and education sometimes omit or distort the shared history of the island, reinforcing the narrative of us versus them. They tell the kids about the fact that Haiti ruled over Dominica for many years, but they ruled over the Dominican Republic for many years, but they don't really talk about the massacre of the Parsley Massacre of 1937. However, civil society organizations on both sides continue to work on human rights, cultural exchange, and migrant protections. And they have economic interdependence. Look, despite the tensions, the DR benefits greatly from Haitian labor, especially in construction, agriculture, and informal urban jobs. Haiti is also a major consumer of Dominican goods, fuel, food, and construction materials. In the long term, mutual prosperity is impossible without cooperation, but historical trauma and political, what do you call it? Political shit, political nonsense is, it's there, and it's something that I don't think is going to go away easily. When you've got a situation where you have that historical trauma, just think about what's happening in Israel and Gaza at the moment. It's just, it's you did this back then, but then you did this, but then you did this, so we're taking revenge for that. Well, we're taking revenge for this. You're taking and it just continues a cycle of violence, a cycle of hate, the cycle of mistrust. You've also got political opportunism, populist bullshit. What happens, and also the fact that the mistrust of each other between the Haitians and the people in the Dominican Republic, it's really quite like it's infused with just the way people think, the people in the DR, they tend to look down a little bit. I know I shouldn't say this. I know it's not great. They tend to look down on the people of Haiti, But then, you know what? We do that as well in this country. We look down on people if they don't have the right colour skin or the right fucking accent or they didn't go to the right school. And, you know, we need to pack it in. And we can't be going around like tutting at countries like Dominican Republic when they're doing exactly the same thing we are and using these same rhetorical tools to gain power at the expense of a threatened minority. Not great. What is great, though, is Kieran Crossan there with the £2 super chat for me. Thank you very much for the keep making these fun. Oh, thank you very much, Kieran. One more and I'll keep making them. So we've got a little bit of time. I've just gone over by about 5 minutes because I started a bit late. But what I've got is a little 4-minute video that I want to share with you of my experience in the Dominican Republic. So it's just a short little video. It's a vlog from when I was traveling back in 2009. And it starts on the border between Haiti and Dominican Republic, and then it goes back a little bit. So yeah, enjoy watching this. I'm going to give it a second before I cross across to the other screen because I do look a little bit gormless, I've got to say, in the still looking at. So I'll try and get this going as soon as possible. It's Friday the 13th of February 2009. I'm in Juanaminthe in Haiti. Oh, easy for you to say. I don't know why it stopped. Why has it stopped?
My name's Graham Hughes, and this is The Odyssey.
I don't know.
So we're leaving the ship now. Okay. The lovely Rosa is taking us to the information kiosk so we can find out how the hell I'm going to get to Santo Domingo. The island of Hispaniola is split between the Dominican Republic and Haiti.
So, yeah, just explaining the island split. You already know that. I told you that. I was just coming off the cruise ship that I managed to catch a lift on, literally hitch a ride on this cargo ship, the Costa Fortuna, which was amazing. They let me on. They let me go up to the bridge, and I was the first civilian to be on the bridge since 9/11 when the boat was actually coming out of port. Normally, when they're coming out of port, they didn't allow any guests to come up onto the bridge, but because they were quite intrigued by my adventure around the world and I'd spent time on cargo ships and stuff, they were like, yeah, you know, come up, meet the captain. And it was brilliant. And we had to wait before we pulled out. We had to wait for the signal to depart the US Virgin Islands. We're in St. Thomas in the Virgin Islands, and the signal to depart were two lovely ladies from the karaoke bar down on the quayside who will come out and flash us, and then the captain's like, okay, time to go now. That's the signal to depart. As I was thinking it was going to be like a foghorn or something, but no, it was something else. Anne Phillips, thanks very much. Twisted my arm again for the tea fund. Oh, thank you so much, Anne. That's really, really kind of you for the super chat. Cheers, much late. Right, let's get back to the video. Need to get on with this. I think my dinner's waiting. I think my dinner is waiting. Are you going to play?
It's about 2/3 Dominican Republic, 1/3 Haiti. Dominican Republic, they speak Spanish and they use pesos. In Haiti, they speak French, and God knows what they use as currency. There's just like a cataclysmic bang on the left-hand side of the coach. They've got the blowout.
Not the first blowout of the journey.
Maybe half an hour, maybe an hour away from Puerto Plata. I've got no plan at the moment. I'm just absolutely flying without a map and without a clue of like how I'm going to get to Cuba and stuff.
Hey! That's my dad.
How are you?
That's my couch surf host.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. My dad here he's from Iran and he's a sushi chef.
I'm not Dominican, but I'm talking about the Dominican Republic, but that's a beautiful country.
I'll say the best thing so far about the Dominican Republic is not just the fact that there's loads of beaches here and mountains. The price is right. It's not a big rip-off like the rest of the Caribbean. Today I'm going to head to the Haitian border, step into Haiti, then I'm going to step back into Dominican Republic and go to a place called Luperon, where I'm hoping to find some yachts. It's market day on the border town today. It says in the guidebook not to come over the border today. There's a few UN peacekeepers from Uruguay there. There's a big market out here. It looks like a music festival. There's enough rubbish all over the floor. It's very colourful, very noisy. There's lots of people sitting around on motorbikes ready to take me somewhere. Hey, I'm about to run the gauntlet now. Back to Dominican Republic. I've just made it to the Luperon Marina. Right, better start asking about. Most of the people with boats are Americans. They can't go to Cuba because if they do and they go home, they might get thrown in jail. No, absolutely nothing. I think I'm better off heading south and trying to get a cargo boat. We're just in the supermarket. We're taking a break from the Odyssey for a moment because my dad's going to make some sushi.
Yeah, sushi chef from Ivan, the Caribbean.
Okay, sushi time.
Yeah. Some lovely bit of sushi. Japanese.
Nice damn good sushi. So I've just arrived in Santo Domingo. This is Ken behind on the stove there. And this is TJ from New Jersey. He's buttering some toast. Okay, I'm in the offices of dr1.com. This is like becoming an impromptu Odyssey operations room.
We are at the DR1 Towers in Santo Domingo. This is a news and information website focused on the Dominican Republic.
This is Roman. Hi. Roman Sid. He's watched my videos on YouTube and tracked me down and come to the offices here in dr1.com to help me out and get me to Cuba. What a dude!
Okay, very helpful.
What did he say?
He told me to send him an email to this address.
Yeah, got a list of cargo boats here. And there's one boat going this week. I just seem to have picked myself an impossible task, which was to try and get around the Caribbean on a boat.
Right.
It's Friday the 13th of February.
That goes back to the beginning. Right. So that was it. That was Dominican Republic. The Dominican Republic, everyone. Yay! Now I want to see, right? I'm just going to check something if you give me a moment. So yeah, I did manage to get away. I don't know if probably the next video or something actually shows me getting away. I could probably have a look for it actually. Let's have a look. So that was Odyssey. That was week 6, I think. Oh God, I can't find it. There's too many videos. I mean, you got like loads and loads of videos, and you just don't know which is which. Yeah. This is taking too long. Why didn't it just do it in numerical order? That will make my... Oh, there you go, 7. It was number 7. So I can find vlog number 8. There it is. Okay, all right, there's a bit more. There's a bit more to go.
It's Monday the 23rd of February 2009. I'm in Kingston, Jamaica. My name's Graham Hughes, and this is the Odyssey.
Okay, so it left
I
off.
feel like this whole thing, I can't get off the island, is just a lie. I feel like you want to stay. But you've been here for a week now?
I've been waiting all day for confirmation on these 2 boats that I need, the 2 boats to get me out of the Caribbean. Please find approval from the owners, it's okay for passage. So that's my first boat, and then for the boat from, where am I going, Mary?
From Kingston to Puerto Lima. I phoned them up and pretty much straight away they said, yeah, that's fine, just send us something in writing. We've done this type of thing before, no worries.
Yes! 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 So we're just in a cafe over the road. I'm going to have one last glass of wine.
Gracias, él es una cosa deliciosa, ese hombre que está ahí. Mira esa barba, mira esa boca linda. Yo te adoro.
No idea what that means, but I'm going to get my Spanish-English dictionary out when I get home and look it up.
I love you.
See you, Robert.
Please,
Keep safe.
stay in touch. Let
Will
us
do.
know how it goes.
Will do.
Let us know if we can help you with anything.
We'll be following you on your blog.
Yeah.
Dude, you gotta go.
I know, okay. That's my cargo ship. About 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay, I'm just gonna turn that off now, cause I'm going off to other places which aren't particularly relevant, I don't think. Well, what I was going to try and do is see if I can put a video on the end of this. Can I just put any video on the end of this? No, damn it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get off. Thank you so much for the super chats. Really, really appreciate it. I hope you learned a little bit about the Dominican Republic. Obviously, that clip that I showed you there, the clips, that was based on my journey. So it was more important for me to sort of be getting around places and visiting these places to get onto the next place. It wasn't necessarily that I needed to show you the old town or something, but I do have footage of the old town. I just didn't edit it together into anything because I was only allowed 4-minute videos by the production company at the time. I was only allowed to put 4-minute videos on YouTube, or I get into all kinds of trouble. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that. Thanks very much for tuning in. Thanks, Graham. Great show, says Diz. And Saz, thank you very much. Appreciated by everyone. So look, all in all, Dominican Republic, I would really recommend it if you're going to the Caribbean. I enjoyed it. I know there's a lot of issues going on at the moment, but that's the same as anywhere, I guess. I like the fact that it wasn't as expensive as some of the other Caribbean places I went to, and also it wasn't as geared towards the cruise ship companies as, ironically, as I arrived there on a cruise ship, but I left on a cargo ship. But it wasn't so geared towards that kind of tourism market that makes things a bit difficult for the locals in other places around the Caribbean. And also it makes it super, super, super expensive to go. I mean, there were quite cheap places to kind of hang out in Dominican Republic, which I really, really appreciated. I love the Latino vibe of the place, the Latinx vibe. I love the food, the dance. The people were lovely. The people I met were all great. I mean, as most people are around the world. And I had a bloody good time there. What can I say? I'm going to leave you with a little link here. If you want to follow this link after the show, that'll take you to my latest video that I've put up. And it is, as I mentioned earlier, it is me and my then girlfriend, Mandy, basically sneaking into the premiere of Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, in May 2005. So it was 20 years ago. And it's got George Lucas in it. It's got Hayden Christensen. It's got Richard Bacon for some reason. It's got it's a little time capsule of a completely different time, completely different place. As it is the 20th anniversary this month of the release of Star Wars Episode 3, and it's also back in the cinemas, I thought it'd be a good time to put it online. It is on my Graham Hughes Presents channel. I've only got 76 followers on there at the moment. So if you'd like to give this channel a like, give me a like. Thank you. If you'd like to give this video a like, that would be great. And then if you go over to my other video channel, Graham Hughes Presents, and hit the subscribe button, I could do with some more subscribers. So if you could do that as a little favor for me, won't cost you anything except your time. You get to watch a little 10-minute video of me going to the Star Wars premiere. If you care about Star Wars, if you give a shit about Star Wars, even if you don't give a shit about Star Wars, it's kind of funny. Like, I say some funny shit in it. Like, I think it's funny. I mean, your mileage may vary, but I do call Hayden Christensen a motherfucker to his face. That happens. So, yeah, enjoy. I'll see you in the morning at 9 o'clock, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, I hope. Oh, no, actually, God, shit, we're doing the local election results tonight, aren't we? Oh, my God, I forgot about that. Okay, I'll see you at 10 o'clock for the local election results coming in, I think. I don't know. Watch this space. Hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification icon, and you'll find out when we're doing a show, me and Mike, later tonight. Tomorrow morning, I'll be back at 9 o'clock, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Possibly, after having stayed up till stupid late o'clock. So loads of material out there, loads more footage, loads more shit that I've done and that I'm doing. So, I hope I keep everyone amused. Got my own goddamn TV channel here. It's like populating it with all shit that I've made over the years and I'll continue to make to this very day. So until next time, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for the super chats, and I'll see you soon. Until then, I'll say hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.